What does it do, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says. I am your host, and welcome to episode 140, 140, my folks. And this will be a happy holidays, happy new year, abbreviated edition, in spite of the fact that the Rams put on a dismal display down in the ATL. And despite the fact that the captain of the SS Ramball seems intent on taking us on a course fraught with peril, too close to the goddamn rocks, Captain. And despite the fact that, well, it looks like the ship may have sprung a leak just mere miles from our destination. And so there is cause for concern, my folks. And well, we'll just sift through the wreckage from the dead, dirty birds who weren't quite as dead as I thought they might be. And we'll look at the current state of affairs. But the one thing you don't want to hear on a ship in the middle of the night is, to the lifeboats, prepare the dinghies. Listen, when we set sail on this journey back in August, months ago now, I told you then, I predicted that the Rams would go 12-5 and that they would make it to the Super Bowl and win it. I told you that in August. And, well, provided the Rams can in fact finish against what I truly believe are legitimate dead birds, the Arizona Cardinals, if they can finish with a dub against them, well, the Rams will be 12-5. And so I would say, is exactly what I expected it would be in terms of the record. Now, the way they got there deviated a little bit from what I would have predicted, but 12-5 is 12-5. The thing, though, is that this year, with the power in the NFC West, well, 12-5 is not quite good enough, is it? And so the Rams, who for quite some time looked like they had a date with the 1 seed and a first round bye, have just since that loss to the Seahawks have dropped from the 1 seed down now to the 6th seed, my folks. And it looks like, most likely, the 6 is where they're going to end up. It would take a variety of machinations for the Rams to actually move up to the 5 seed. Could still happen, but I wouldn't bet on it. And so at the 6, they are locked in to a visit with the Eagles. A first round wild card visit to Philadelphia in January. We've seen this movie before, haven't we, my folks? And so there is cause for concern. McWonder is 0-3 against Sirianni, both regular season and playoffs now. 0-3. And although it does seem like he's getting a little closer each time, I fear that the coach will not apply the proper discipline necessary to defeat the defending Super Bowl champions in their stadium in January. And that means there is a very real possibility now that the Rams will be a one-and-done team after all of the talk of MVP. And let me just say this about MVP, Matty from the D. Matty, I think we're watching the MVP slip right out of his hands. With that performance tonight, and it's not, he's on a roll now of pick sixes, poltergeist strikes, multiple of them. And, well, with the Rams now at 11-5, and with New England and Drake May seemingly coasting, Matty might have just lost the MVP with that dismal performance he put on tonight. But Matty's had a good year, a better than a good year, a great year. My real concern, my folks, with the Rams is with the captain. I don't know if he's just headstrong and reckless, if he's hitting the sauce. I don't know what the captain is doing, but there's a proven route to the promised land, and he eschews it. He prefers to take a more perilous course that puts him in proximity to the rocks, and he keeps crashing. And the boat is a wreck, and it's listing. And I wonder if there is time to course correct, if there is time to make the necessary repairs. The Rams are swooning at a terrible time. The end of the season, you want to go into the playoffs hitting on all cylinders, not stumbling and bumbling and McBlundering. Regrettably, there is a McBlunder spotlight sequence that I must report this evening. Now, I'm not going to go into a game analysis. Not tonight. As I say, it's holiday time. Happy holidays, damn it. It's just that the Rams are trying men's souls. And so, we're just going to take a cursory look, sift through the wreckage, the debris. We're going to apply the principle, because that is the key. That is the formula. That is the way, the truth, the light. But the captain won't hear of it. He prefers his own erratic path. And so now we are where we are. And, well, I do believe that it might be the case that them damn Niners are just, I don't know how Father Shanahan, the sorcerer, I don't know how he did it. But when the Rams whooped them damn Niners in their building, I thought it was over for them damn Niners. I thought that was the end of them, that they were going to go and limp off into a corner and die. Oh, no, not I, said Father Shanahan. We will survive. And look at them now. All they got to do is win this last weekend, and they get the first round bye. They are the number one seed in the NFC. They will have home field advantage all the way through the Super Bowl, which is in their building. Damn. Meanwhile, the Rams gonna have to book a trip to Philly to play in a freezer against the defending Super Bowl champions. Yes, the path is fraught with peril, my folks. But we're going to keep this one light and upbeat. So, well, the thing is, though, before I can go into light and upbeat, I have to walk you through this one short particular sequence. The Rams, they looked, let me start by saying this. The Rams looked like a team that wasn't prepared to play. They looked, the Rams, like a team that was flat, low on energy. It was the Atlanta Dirty Bird, dead Falcons that came with juice, that came with that spirit of fire and energy. Warriors, fire. It was the ATL team, not the Rams. And Atlanta is well eliminated from any postseason contention. The Rams had something to play for, but it seemed to me like maybe there was a letdown because they could no longer be the number one seed and they'd have to be a wild card team on the road. And they just said, hey, we'll just come out and waltz through it and get to the postseason. Not so fast. And another thing, my folks, you know from many previous episodes that there is a book of McWonder. Father Shanahan, the sorcerer, wrote the book. Many other coaches have access to the book. And, well, wouldn't you know that a former coach, a close associate of McWonder, someone like Raheem, wouldn't you expect Raheem to be aware of the book? He knows about the book. And so Raheem probably just told his troops, yo, listen up. I've got a formula. There's a guy, Scotty says. He's told us all what to do. McWonder just won't hear of it. I'm going to follow his formula, his tasty recipe. He calls it the 25-30 principle. Rob probably told his fellas, we're going to follow the 25-30 principle and adhere to the book of McWonder, and we're going to beat them because they'll beat themselves. That's all you got to do. Follow the principle, adhere to the book, and let him do the rest. Ron knows. And so we'll apply the principle when we look at the numbers in just a bit. But before all of that, I want to just take you through a specific sequence. Now, the Rams shut out in the first half, only the third time in the McWonder era, and down big, 21-0, right? They show some second half resolve. They fight back and, well, they get the score to 24-17. We're in the fourth quarter now. About 9 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter. It's 24-17 Atlanta. And the Rams have the ball and they're driving and they come upon a 4th and 2. Now, it's a 4th and 2 from the Atlanta 28. So they are well within field goal range. And you've made this huge comeback, right? And you're only down 7. 4th and 2 from the Atlanta 28. And right here, my folks, right here, I'm yelling at the television, said, kick the field goal. Mevis, where is Mevis? Kick it. And then the score will be 24-20. And then you can get that game-winning touchdown at the end of the quarter. But for now, you want to get it down under 7. And so I'm waiting for the field goal, 24-20. But McWonder says, no, I heard you saying play with 4 downs. Not always, McWonder. Time, spot, sequence. You got to know the scenario. Not in this case. Not after mounting that great comeback. You need to keep scoring. Put up the 3. I'm yelling, no. Maybe he's just trying to draw him off sides. That's what I started thinking. That's it. That's what McWonder's doing. He's trying to draw him off sides, see if he can get a free first down. And then if they don't jump, he'll just take a delay of game or burn a timeout and kick the field goal. That's what I'm thinking. Nope. No, McWonder really is going for it out the gun. He's going for it. And Matty fires, and it's a poltergeist strike. Another one. And, I mean, I couldn't help but think, you're going to lose, coach. This kind of thing. This is what I'm talking about. So, instead of taking the 3, you go for it on 4th and 2, come away with nothing. Atlanta's now got the ball going the other way, and it was just a toenail out of bounds from damn near being another pick 6. But, hey, to their credit, the Rams defense, hey, they stiffened. And speaking of, you got to give Jared Verse a lot of credit. That blocked field goal, to block it was athletic enough, but then to scoop it off the bounce, and the bounce was perfect. Like the football guys bounced it right into his hand. And then a sprint down the sideline, putting up the Roadrunner beep beep sign to the Atlanta sideline. Go ahead from Jared verse V8. You have put the Rams back in the ball game. So now with that kind of energy and momentum, you gotta take the 3, but he didn't. And so to turn the ball over there, despite the fact that you ended up getting the ball back, the score remains 24-17 instead of 24-20. And so now, when you do score that touchdown, the game is tied. Except the problem is now that field goal that you chose not to take, that field goal is what beat you. And so you lose by 3 to the lowly Atlanta Falcons. Dead birds flapping. Not quite dead, still twitching and convulsing. And so, as a result, my folks, I am required, I am compelled, I must report that that particular sequence, that has been your McBlunder Spotlight sequence of the week. God damn, coach. And so, we're going to go ahead and move forward because, that's all we can do. And who knows, even if he kicks the field goal and in that situation, who knows, the Rams may probably still find a way to lose that game. It seemed like it wasn't their night for whatever reason. And so at this point, I want to go ahead and get right to the numbers. Let's look at the numbers now. Now, again, as I have bemoaned over multiple previous episodes, once again, the offensive statistics are fairly close, but yet one glaring discrepancy: rushing yards. Yet again, the Rams, 115 yards on the ground. Atlanta, 219. They outrushed them by over 100. And what is it with these running backs, Saquon, the Matrix, and Bijan? They make the Rams look like video game defense. Busting into the secondary untouched and galloping 70 and 80 yards on them. Well, once again, the Rams are outrushed by their opponent. And then, on top of that, Atlanta, 0 turnovers. Got to play clean. What about the Rams? Three poltergeist strikes. Oh, stanky, something wrong. And so, Rams go down to defeat 27-24, and they look like something really is wrong. And so, let's just apply my 25-30 principle, because this was the salve. This was the balm that I tried to send to McWonder so he wouldn't have to keep licking his wounds like this. But he won't take it. He won't take the medicine. The captain is determined, hell-bent, to sail headlong right into the rocks. And so here it is yet again. You know, my folks, that my 25-30 principle, I have touted it to you as being undefeated. You know this. And so, submit it yet again for your inspection. The numbers from the Monday Night Football letdown in Atlanta. Matthew Stafford, formerly the MVP frontrunner, 22 of 38. 38? Well, was he sacked? Yes, he was. How many sacks did he have? Well, 3. He grazed on Atlanta turf 3 times. So you factor those 3 sacks in, 41 pass attempts for Matty. That is over, as you know, the cap of the 25-30 principle, so that's a big X. What about rushing? I think we already know the answer to this, don't we? Don't we? McWonder has come up short. Time and time and time again with his rushing attack. And so, tonight, Kyron Williams, K-Will, 13 carries. That's all, 13. And remember, Corum Deuces got hurt. Hope he's well soon. He only had 6 carries before his night ended prematurely. So, in the absence of Deuces, Ronnie Rivers got 1 carry. And so, there were a total, when you add it all up, 13, 6, and 1. What is it? 20 run plays. That's short. McWonder short. And so, once again now, our dear coach, McWonder, the captain of the SS Roundball, has missed both metrics of the 25-30 principle. Let's look at his balance differential then, shall we? A negative 21 balance differential. It's as if there is a proven path, a safe crossing to the promised land, but our captain wants to take his own route. Then it puts him right in proximity to the rocks every damn time. Okay, that's the Rams. Miss both metrics of the principle and a negative 21 balance differential. Let's look at the victors. Let's look at the Atlanta still twitching. Let's call them damn near deceased dirty birds. Atlanta, Cousins. He was 13 of 20. Kirk Cousins, 13 of 20. Raheem knows the book. Don't you see? 13 of 20. Was he sacked? He was not. 13 of 20. He only passed for 126 yards, but his passer rating was still over 99. He had a tutty. 13 of 20, no sacks. That's a big green check. 20 passes. He's 10 below the threshold. Check. Check, Raheem. What about rushing? Here it is now, my folks. Bijan Robinson. Mustard! Bijan. 22 carries. 195 yards. Ow, good goddamn. 22 for 195. About a 9 yards per touch average. Plus he had a tutty. Plus he popped off one from 93 yards away. Oh, damn. Bijan Mustard. He had 22 rushing attempts. The backup back, Algier, he had 10 carries. 10 carries. That's 32. 32 carries for your running backs. That's a big green check. What's the balance differential here? It's a plus 12. So look at what Raheem did and look at what your dear leader, Captain McWonder, did. Captain McWonder missed both metrics with a negative 21 balance differential. Raheem hit both metrics. He hit them both with a plus 12 balance differential. You don't need me to tell you. I can tell you who won the game without seeing the score when I see this number right here. The 25-30 principle is golden. It's infallible. It doesn't fail. All you got to do is follow it, coach. Raheem, he did. And he got the dub. Dubs and L's. L's and dubs. Which one did you get? Raheem, got the dub. And those birds are twitching near death. McWonder, captain of the SS Roundball. He's wearing a big fat L on his head. He has chewed the run. He has chewed the principle. There you have it. There you have it. That's how the ball will bounce for your ass every time. I'm telling you this right now, my folks. If Coach McWonder takes this show on the road, if he takes this type of effort and energy and game planning to Philadelphia, they're one and done. They're one and done. And so, I want to bring it back to the positive, which is the Rams really have had a great season. And 12-5, should they be able to finish, 12-5 is just what I predicted they would go. And if my predictions are going to hold up, let's hope they hold up all the way, because I predicted the Rams would make it to the Super Bowl. It's just now, it's all very questionable. The confidence that I had at one point, it is wavering a bit. You know, there are whispers. Is the captain mad? What is he? Why is he doing this? And so, my folks, I want to at this point say thank you for indulging and watching these episodes over the course of the journey. And I want to wish each and every one of you a happy, healthy, prosperous new year, a wonderful 2026. I want to wish it to McWonder a happy New Year and a wonderful 2026 in the Rams. And so you know I will be back on the other side of the final game of the season, and we'll dissect it all and we'll analyze what it all really means. And so at this point, what I'm now going to ask from you, what I'm going to ask you to do is throw me one of these, please. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment if you're so inclined. Let me know what you're thinking. Hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when I drop my next video. And my next video will be soon come, as we have already discussed. And so until the next one, my friends, Scotty says, have a safe and happy new year. Thanks for watching, and one love.